Dylan. Thanks for your time. A huge victory, particularly interstate, and what they threw at you early, they certainly took you to deep water, but in the end, you were able to withstand that pressure and get the victory.
Yeah, the first quarter they really jumped us, and it just goes to show that despite recent form and recent years, like the competition's really tight, and if you let any team in, they're going to have their way with you. And their pressure, their ability to move the ball was exceptional, and Waterman was sitting on a hot seat there for a while. So as hard as that was to defend, it was also impressive to watch. But we knew we had the opportunity, a new test for us that quarter time, that we had to really stay strong and grind and work our way back into the game, just regardless of how long it was going to take.
Talk us through that messaging, because that's a really interesting insight, I think, because away from home, expected to win. What is the talk, and what's the who are the players that at quarter time were saying the messages about hang in there, keep grinding away, we'll get this done in the end?
Oh, I mean, it's led by the coach, Brad. He was really clear leading into the game that they're going to have their moments, and they certainly did. They probably had more of a moment than what we wanted. And you don't want to be going into quarter time allowing that sort of lead. We set ourselves a pretty big challenge, and but it required a lot of process and patience and all the boring things that the fans probably don't care about. But it matters, and fortunately we were able to grind back and show some resilience, and just super pumped that we're able to get it back on our terms, and felt like our forwards were really probably disconnected at times, but we were able to bring him in that second half, and it was led by Pete Wright, and super pumped that he was able to come back and have a pretty solid impact.
You had some dominance through the middle of the ground there, especially in the second half. You in particular, mate, I loved your game. Were you doing anything differently in the middle of the ground? Your centre bounce clearance work was incredible tonight.
Not really. We're just sort of taking what the game gives us. We know that they're pret're strong around the ball as well, especially when they get Reed in, and Tim Kelly. The guys are really prime movers in there. So we respected that, and they had times where they were looking pretty dangerous. But we went to work. We had to really body him up, and then let our outside game drive the ball forward for us. So it was. We were on top of stoppages tonight, and it was good that we were able to get some scores from there.
How's your body feeling? You had a nice little run down the middle of the ground there in the last. You're looking pretty good. Is your body feeling good?
Yeah, I think they're looking after me. A bit low game time if anyone's checked it. I was a little bit flat when they pulled me off. I was feeling good. But, it was good. Yeah, like I said, it's good to, take what the game was giving me. And, that moment I thought, let's go for a few bounces and drive the ball forward. It was nice I still had the legs going.
You're looking
should have gone goals.
Yeah, exactly. A play that was outstanding for you, we highlighted at three-quarter time, centre square bounce where Sammy Draper thought he had a big impact on the game, and then unfortunately was sore and injured. Looks like it's a lower leg, potentially Achilles injury. Have you had a chance to have a chat to him as yet?
No, I haven't had a chat to him yet, or the doctors. But obviously it doesn't look great. I don't want to go into what it could be, speculate, but it's certainly added to the feeling after the game. Despite the win, potentially losing one of our main guys for a period of time, especially after losing Nick Bryan last week as well. It's, we've had a tough couple of weeks with injuries.
Does that make the win almost even better, the fact that Sam goes off, Zach Reid goes into the middle and has to fight out of his weight division, and you still get it done?
I mean, it's really great that we had Reedy to be able to step up and play a position he's never played before. So that's a tough challenge. You just got to be really fluid in that game, don't you? You never know what it's going to throw at you. Great that we got the job done. Certainly better than losing and flying back with the loss. So, but you're losing one of your main guys. You understand what that does for the team, and we're going to have to find somebody to fill a pretty big hole there.
You've got a young group. It was the second youngest team in the comp this round. You're one of the senior players now. You're the oldest. You're old boy.
Well, Goldie travels, but I think the oldest currently on the field. Yeah,
so
he's 40.
So he's just got you. What's it like from a leadership point of view when it hasn't gone well in that first half, and you come in here not as well as you would have liked? What are the senior players saying to some of these young blokes? Or are the young blokes driving it?
No, the captain, vice captain, and the senior group. There's a bit of a core group that have played a lot of footy together now. So we did a really good preparation going into the game. We spoke about potentially what could happen and how we'd respond. So when even though the first quarter wasn't ideal and it happened, we had the confidence that we'd spoken about it and that what we'd be doing if something like that happened. So, and then, when we come to the halftime breaks, sometimes you just got to let the coaches coach. So, it's really important that, they're seeing the game up high and they have a pretty good perspective. So sometimes you just got to let them coach it and be coachable.
What was that message then? So, yes, coachable is important, but clarity of role and sometimes just actually leading by example is important. So what did Brad say?
Well, Brad made some positional moves that he felt would balance up the team, but the big thing for the mids was that ball security, and then the ability to us to be able to keep that turnover game, keep providing defensive layers and support to the backs, and then being able to drive the ball forward. So it was just a really mental challenge as well. To how much do we want to hang in there and keep fighting, because it was testing. It
was good resilience, and you come up against Collingwood at Anzac Day, which is going to require a different type of resilience and a different type of game. Anzac Day, tell us about it. It's such a huge day in the Australian calendar, but what does it mean to go out there at the MCG and play that match?
Yeah, it's obviously a massive game, and it means so much and connects so much to the footy world. So I really appreciate that. As boring as it sounds, as a player, you don't want to get overwhelmed and absorbed by it too much. Our job is to play the game of footy, as boring as that sounds. So we'll appreciate it and acknowledge it. Obviously there's a bit of a build-up pre-game as well, and it's just a special occasion to be able to experience as a player. But what a test it's going to be for us. Best team in the comp, some of the best players in the comp. We're certainly going to have our hands full. So boys are going to recover well and hit it head on.
How quickly do you get onto Collingwood? Is it tomorrow? Do you get a day off? Does Scotty say just cool your Jets boys for a little bit, or Monday morning you into them?
Eat some chocolate, have some hot cross buns.
You should. Easter Sunday, Monday, enjoy that.
Yeah, we'll come in Monday, we'll review the game as we usually do, and Monday, Tuesday we'll start really looking at what Collingwood do, and coaches are pretty across what they're doing anyway, but our preparation will start to lead into the game by Tuesday, I think.
Go and enjoy those chockies, go and enjoy those hot cross buns. Really nice to talk to you, and congratulations tonight.
Thanks,
Dylan. Well done. Dylan Shiel joins us. Thanks for his time. Really nice to sort of hear the inside. There's a lot about the mental side of the game and how they had to deal with that.
Yeah, I thought so. And I was sort of probing pretty much everyone I spoke to after the game and who's standing up. But it sounds like they've got a really balanced approach.
Even, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's led by Brad Scott. And then, each senior player that we spoke to, they said, no, it's everyone's job. It's everyone's role.
Which it is. And that means it's a good team. Let's talk about the injury, the sour note of tonight, because Sam Draper is the one on crutches down here in the rooms. And so here is the end of the third quarter, because there was an incident just before three-quarter time, and then they had a long time between the coaches and the physios. He said, I'm right to go. Brad Scott said, look, we don't want to lose you. And then this was early, just a simple step off. That right leg goes back and he goes down. I mean, again, we don't know exactly what's happened, but that looks like the mechanism of an Achilles injury.
Look, I don't want to give too much away, but I had a bit of a word to a couple of players and a couple of staff here, and it is an Achilles.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look good. We saw the ambulance, the paramedics coming through with a hospital bed. So none of that sort of means anything good. And as well as the way it happened, no one near him, stepping off. Clearly he was chatting about something at three-quarter time there, and it's just a poor way to happen.
We've seen a few of them now this year, so whether it's just an anomaly or whether there's something in it, I'm not really sure, but it doesn't look good for Sam.
No, and he's really important to this group. I mean, he was one of their best players until he goes off. It allows Peter Wright to just be a pure forward, which he's done for a couple of years now, but it means they don't have to stretch their way across because he's so important to them. He's a player that sort of started being mentioned around free agency as well. So
you've lost us again here.
Yeah, don't worry.
But there we go. We're back.
They want us out. Friday night footy. Get out of the rooms.
Speaking of getting out and enjoying the footy, there's so much footy to enjoy across the weekend. Melbourne and Fremantle tomorrow from 12:30 on Fox Footy. The only place you can see it. Looking forward to that one.